you're late.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
It's wonderful to see you, Gandalf.
Welcome to Concerning Pipers, a show concerning all things pipes and tobacco. I'm Mike.
And I'm Joe.
Hey, Joe, what's going on, man?
Nothing much.
Glad you're with me tonight. I had to relight here. What are you smoking on?
My mixture 965.
Okay. Yeah, tis the season for Latakia blends, man. The weather's cold. It's about 33 degrees out here right now. I've got the fire going and I'm all bundled up.
Yes, sir.
I've got some Bill Bailey's Balkan out here with some in my Jeremiah Sandal pipe there. So yeah, we're just hanging out tonight. Wanted to get on here and we're gonna have a little special episode planned. We're talking about J.R.R. Tolkien and how he impacts us as pipe smokers, and his legacy lives on, through the movies, obviously Lord of the Rings, and the impact that had on pipe smoking and the impact it had on our lives as a whole. So Joe, we'll let you take the reins and go first, and then I'll add in and we'll go from there.
All right. So I was introduced to Lord of the Rings as a I was at that age when the movie came out, the first movie, and as a kid, you kind of hear folk tales about dwarves and elves and wizards and knights, and they're very much, you get like the King Arthur and you get the basic kind of stuff. But I remember seeing Lord of the Rings and being just blown away by the depth of the lore. It was my first time seeing something like world building in that way. Of he created this whole economic system, this whole cultural system,
Right?
That is very much his own. Middle Earth is very much just contained in this world, and you get the sense that the story has been going on for longer than it, and it's going to continue to go afterwards. And it's just, a different way of storytelling, and it blew my mind as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely set up like you said, the background, the world building, and it set a path for other writers to come, as they, you've got George R.R. Martin,
Yeah.
Who's done Game of Thrones, and he definitely borrowed from
Terry
Tolkien.
Brooks, and a bunch of he inspired a bunch of people, a bunch of great authors, lots of great literature. The entire Dungeons and Dragons franchise, and the Dragonlance Chronicles. If you've gotten into those, very much of that inspiration of creating a world for these characters to live in.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, the coolest thing about Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings world is his love, for pipes and pipe tobacco, and how he put that into his world with the hobbits and Gandalf, and they had they smoked pipe weed, and it was you've got old Toby, and what's the other one they had?
Old Toby. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of but the one with Merry and Pippin when they go into the they finally take Isengard back and they
Oh, they find old Toby there, which they love because it's from the
it was I think it was South Farthing.
South Farthing. Okay.
I feel like I'm back at the Green Dragon.
Green Dragon.
A mug of ale in my hand. Putting my feet up on a settle after a hard day's work.
Only you've never done a hard day's work.
Yeah.
South Farthing. It was like the finest pipe weed and all South Farthing and
Yep.
and he and then Merry tells Pippin, he gives him the last bit of when Pippin leaves to go with Gandalf, Merry gives him the last of his pipe tobacco and he goes, I know you're out because you smoke too much. And
Yeah, that was really touching moment.
You've got that scene with Bilbo and Gandalf blowing smoke rings and Gandalf blows the ship through the ring and you're like, oh man, this is so cool.
Old Toby, the finest weed in the South Valley.
So cool,
Yeah.
They brought that to life in the book and in the film, and
Yeah.
Gandalf has his pipe and his staff. It's always with him, and then Tolkien loved his pipe. I've got to know that he loved his pipe just as much as Gandalf. Always probably had it with him, and he was always smoking a Capstan Blue. I think it's what he was known for, only smoking Capstan Blue. And I know that they smoked Peter Stokely P.S. Nougat, right, in the movie.
Yeah, when filming it. Yeah, I've heard that too.
That's all they smoked, and
yeah.
You've got the Country Squire has a whole line dedicated to Shire themed pipe tobacco, and you've got GLPs that does all the he did the NAS PC Lord of the Rings line. Those are hard to find and expensive. So for the collectors out there listening, if you've got some of those tins, I've got a few as well in my cellar, and they're all English blends, and they're all very, very good. So and they're old.
I've had really good luck with the Country Squire ones. I love the Green Dragon and what's the other one? The Scottish blend that's really good.
Bag in.
Yeah, that's a really good blend too. Yeah.
Rivendell is a really, really good aromatic. It's chocolate, and I think it's got cocoa chocolate flavor, and the bag note really just smells like Cocoa Puffs. It's just really good. Then you got second breakfast, which is like pancakes and syrup. Anyway, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, I said earlier I was smoking sugar to mushrooms, another Tolkien inspired tobacco blend.
Yeah, so
that's like a nice sour English, sweet English, but that's from I think Four Noggins, if I remember correctly. Or no, it was from just for him.
Okay. Yeah. So just for him. Yeah. But I think that's been reincarnated and with other hobbyists that do artisan blends. They've recreated and named them after all different sorts of lines in the realm of Lord of the Rings, and so it's no secret that the sheer impact that Tolkien and Lord of the Rings had on us as pipe smokers, especially us newer pipe smokers. And but not only that, so my mom, whenever my parents, it's kind of like sentimental for me because, my parents split up when I was a young age, and my mom, she lived out of town. And so when the movies were out and she would always come into town and we'd go see them around Christmas time. And so that was the kind of a thing that we bonded over. So they hold a very, very sentimental note in my heart, So
Yeah.
I had I had all the action figures, man. I still have
Nice.
them. I have all the action figures from the movie.
That's awesome.
I will never ever get rid of them. They will be passed down to my children, and I will read the books to my children and show the movies to my children.
Yep. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is where I connected with my dad a lot. I didn't have a lot in common with my dad, I felt like, as a kid, until the Lord of the Rings came out, and that was something he had read as a teenager, in high school age, and loved at the time. And when Lord of the Rings came out, I saw that and then started talking to him about Lord of the Rings stuff and the lore. And he's like, "Well, you read the books, right?" And I was like, "No, I've never read the books." And so he went out and got the movie copy of the trilogy, and then he gave me other things to read. So the Sword of Shannara trilogy for one, and the Darkover series, and Dragonlance, and all these other things that me and my dad suddenly had this connection that we never saw, had before this.
Yeah, I mean, huge impact on the fantasy genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff, man. And so yeah, I mean, I think that's just about covers, Tolkien for us. It's a lasting legacy and something to aspire to in life. What a great guy. Rest in peace, right? So
yeah.
So now I kind of want to change gears and talk about, we talked a little bit about the weather changes among us. It's cold here in South Georgia now, and maybe your favorite blends of the season have changed. And what are you smoking now? What's your rotation look like, Joe?
So I still like to switch back and forth. So I like to do an English and a Virginia, but the Virginia switched from being just Virginias to being like vapors. So I right now I do my mixture 965, which is a nice easygoing English, and then I usually break out like the Windjammer or the Elizabethan mixture. Just I like the Perique in the wintertime. It adds a little oomph to it, a little spice, a little pepper, a little something to the those Virginia blends can kind of to complement the Virginias.
Okay. So you got nines, and that's for those listening, Peterson 965. Now it was Dunhill 965 until they discontinued that, and then Peterson brought that line back, and they're doing early morning pipe 965 standard mixture.
And it's still being processed and blended by the same people. It's always been Scandinavian Tobacco blending it. They just changed the name on the label. That was a worry that I remember that being a stress, a worry is whether or not the blends are going to actually change. The recipes are going to be any different. And in my opinion, from what I've tasted, the exact same stuff. All the Peterson, all the Dunhill now Peterson stuff, nothing's changed about them.
Yeah, just a little bit of tobacco red tape. Nothing's changed. Just the name on the box, right?
Yep.
So, for me, I'm about the same. I've been finding myself enjoying sweeter vapors. So, this one that I have out here with me is Robert McConnell's Scottish Flake. This is it's not really a unicorn, I would say, but it's not as readily produced as some other blends out there. So there's drops every now and again on Smoking Pipes and your other tobacco retailers. You can find them at brick and mortars. But I love this blend a lot because it's sweet, but it's also, it's got the Virginia and the Perique. And it's enough to it's got the spicy Kentucky, and it's just enough to really get you going. But it really pairs well with just a sweet cup of coffee. And so that's one. And I also really like Cordell and Deal Bow-Legged Bear this time of year. Everybody who knows has been following concerning pipers from the beginning knows I was all about Bow-Legged Bear last winter, and that has not changed. It's a burly forward English blend with a lot of Perique, and it's full, it's forward. It's in your face and it's delicious. It's satisfying and creamy. A really, really well-rounded blend. Yeah. So I guess my palate hasn't really. It's funny, you know. I'm a year now around the sun of pipe tobacco, and you know when you do something for an entire year, you know, 4 times a day, 6 times a day, sometimes, you know, every day for a year, you learn so much from it, you know, and you learn a lot about yourself while you're sitting out here with by yourself or with, you know, with friends, and learning from your friends and learning from your own experiences. And it's been an awesome adventure of pipes and pipe tobacco. And Joe, you've been around for pretty much the whole ride, man. You stuck it out with me we met in February of this past year, and we've got to know each other pretty well. So I appreciate you sticking by me and sticking with the Concerning Pipers brand, whatever brand we are at this point. I don't even know what we're doing, how we're doing it, but we're doing it. You know, that's the thing. We're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and you know, I'm looking forward to. I don't know if anybody listening is in the Chattanooga, Atlanta area, southeast, but there's a pipe club called the Lanier's Smokers Club, and I'm a part of, and Joe is as well. And we meet up on the 3rd Saturday of every month at Smitty's in Gainesville, Georgia. And I could post a little at link or address, you know, to that place. We meet the 3rd Saturday of every month, and bring a pipe and come hang out. And we've got an event coming January 14th with Stephen Cashwell Pipes and the Pipery. Dave Shane does the Pipery there. He's going to have some estate pipes, and Stephen Cashwell is going to have some artisan pipes that he sells. And it's going to be beer on tap and good fellowship, to tobacco to be shared. And
yes, Smitty's is really cool because I see Smitty's as a modern day version of some of those pubs and taverns in Middle Earth, where there's pipe smoking, there's beer, there's conversation. You know, there's a lot, you know, cigar smokers, pipe smokers, they intermingle. You know, someone will put on a game, you know, a college football game typically, and it just has that community feel to it in that building. I really have grown to love Smitty's as one of my favorite places to be.
yeah, well, I mean, us pipe smokers, man, we're all hobbits at heart, right? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we love you know, if everyone in the world, there's that quote, right? It says that if everyone in the world valued food and cheer over hoarded gold, it would be the world would be a merrier place. Yeah. And I mean, that, you know, we try to live like that. You know, we try to share our pipes and tobacco, our love for the hobby, love for one another. And it's just the IGPC, man, we need we have our own little world that we live in, and it's just a great place to be. So for those listening at home and or listening in wherever you are, I hope you can make it out to a pipe meetup at Smitty's, and or hope that you enjoyed this brief video, and we hope that you enjoy your pipes and tobacco, and you know, happy smokes.